Good morning, everyone, and welcome to High Trust Coaching Live. I am Hope Bourman, and I am the Divisional President for High Trust Coaching. I have with me today Matt Harrison. Matt Harrison is one of our certified High Trust coaches, so welcome and good morning, Matt.
Well, good morning.
How are you?
I am well. We're just wrapping up the year. It's been an awesome year.
Yes, it has been an awesome year. I mean, I was thinking about that this morning and thinking about all of the the amazing, business we've been doing, but how our entire world got turned upside down, and how, obviously we have a bird's eye view and actually, an intimate look at how this is affecting our industry, because we're coaching people that are walking that every single day, including yourself in your own business, right, Matt?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's been one of those years of I reflect back on my own personal goals for last year. And this time last year, I was looking at my book of business and I said, you know what, I would really like to focus more on a bucket that I was kind of underutilizing. Mm-hmm. We're all going to laugh at this, but it was refinances. I'm like, I've got to figure out a way that I can touch my database and find ways that I can improve that bucket. And of course, this year happened and refinances were not a hard thing to do. So we have to be careful what we project forward. But
exactly,
it is a really fun time to start to reflect on, what we've been able to do, celebrate those successes, but at the same time, look forward to, okay, what are we doing strategically for this next year? How are we positioning ourselves to continue to take the cream off the top, but really build on what it is that's going to sustain us once we have a turn in the market?
Right. Yeah. There's such an important conversation. And I know it's one that you and I have been having with our coaching members for the last month or two. And what's really kind of been interesting for me in having those conversations is the shift in mindset for many of our coaching members. And that is that they're not looking at this year as a refi boom, but rather an expansion of their business. And how are we going to position ourselves in 2021 to achieve the same level of success? And what do we need to do that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can't, if you're living off of the cream, you're living off of the refis, and really you just need to go back and look at your year. If you've had more refinances than you have had purchases, it is going to be a real gut check time to sit down and go through, what is it that I am doing right now, or what is it that I have not done to have those purchases go forward. Now, again, it's interesting because in an economy right now where we have so little inventory, and we have less inventory now than we did last year at this time, and even last year we had little inventory. The purchases that we have been doing have been, they've been hard fought. We've got our real estate partners that have been putting in multiple offers. I got off the phone with one of them this morning. She said, Matt, I have never worked so hard to get the business that I do that I actually have under contract. And that's a true statement.
Yes, it certainly.
I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like this before for as prolonged of a time as we have seen it.
Yeah, it's very, very true, Matt. And, and I think that's what I want to spend this 30 minutes doing, is kind of sharing what some of the challenges and actually victories and triumphs that our coaching members have had over this last year, because it was extremely challenging year. And it was a lot of management. It was very tactical. We got very, very tactical this year, very step by step. And, one of the things I got a text message from one of my coaching members yesterday, and I apologize for that. Someone's calling me, and I can't believe someone's calling me. It'll stop in a minute. And let me see if there's a way for me to. Okay, so there it goes. Sorry about that, everyone. She was talking to me about the fact that, she had texted me yesterday and said that she had achieved Chairman's Elite this year. And she had to reach a certain goal, and it was the first time she'd ever reached it. what was unique about that, I know that a lot of people have, doubled their business and tripled their business this year. What was unique about this particular coaching member is that she made a decision very early on that she wasn't going to do refinances. So she not only doubled her business, but she doubled it only in purchase business because she had made that business decision. And she had reached a goal and a level of, in her business at chairman's club, doing just purchase business, which I thought was really interesting in the way that she had set a goal and went after it. And she said to me yesterday when I called her to congratulate her, she said, I never used to write down my goals. I never used to set goals. I was actually afraid to set goals because I was afraid that I may not achieve them. Now I know that if I set a goal, I'll achieve it.
Yeah, it was so important to have that visualization of where you want to be and where you're going. I've been spending a lot of time recently in the past couple of weeks focusing with my coaching members on where is your life in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years, and where do you see yourself as the same person 3, 5, and 10 years from now that you are today? And who is this person, and how are you progressing? Are you still doing exactly the same thing that you're doing? If you are, you're not progressing. Have you developed into a niche? Are you doing something different? Where do you see your production? Where do you see your life and your family? Where do you see your aspirations and your goals as far as I want to climb that mountain, or I want to run that marathon, or I want to travel to this area in the world that I've never been to before. So where are you, and have you achieved those? And once you've got that mindset to say, okay, this is where I'm going.
Yes.
At that point, then you start to backtrack that to, all right, these are the little goals that I've got to make to get me on the pathway to become the person that I'm going to become. Right? But otherwise, we have blinders on and we're just like going anywhere, any which direction, and we're going to run really hard and go nowhere.
That's kind of the difference between being intentional about your business and being at the effect of your business. And I think that's something that Todd Duncan had taught me many years ago, and something that that really kind of rang true for me was being very, very intentional about my business. It's what we coach every single day. I have a coaching member that I've been coaching for a couple of years, and she says, what's really amazing is that I keep setting these big, hairy, audacious goals, and I have no idea how I'm going to achieve it. And then here we are, I've achieved it. It's crazy.
No. Well, and this is just the beginning.
Yes.
It really is. I think the trap that we fall into, or can fall into, is to say, I've achieved my goal, or I doubled my goal. I've arrived, right? I am where I want to be. But I got to be honest, with the people that I'm coaching, there's not a single person that has said, Matt, yeah, I'm there. I'm where I want to be.
Yeah.
Everybody is now transitioning to, all right, what's the next step? Where are we going next? How do we position ourselves to achieve even greater levels of success? And for a lot of my coaching members, greater levels of success does not necessarily mean greater amounts of income.
Thank you.
It does mean more time personally, more time with my family, more the ability to give back, and be a greater influence in the community. So all of these things, when you kind of chunk that down, that's the reason that we do what we do. This is not all about money. It's not all about how many units can I do. It's about how can I improve my life.
Right, exactly. So Matt, you've been coaching with us for 3 years now. You're one of our core coaches, and you've graduated several of our coaching members that you've been coaching to master level. Can you walk us through what that process was like and what that looks like?
Yeah, no, there's nothing more gratifying as a coach than to watch those that you're coaching develop and move to where they've basically done a great job mastering the initial laws of high trust. They know how to run a great business. They're great with a high trust interview. They're fantastic with a 5-star customer service experience. They've nailed it on the annual review, and they're building this business, but now they've kind of tapped out as far as this is the maximum that I can do on my own, or with an assistant. I now want to get to that next step, that next level, which is I want to start to bring in team members. I want to start to build a team that can allow me to do more of what I should be doing and less of what I shouldn't be doing. And master level coaching, the idea is taking that individual and making them more effective in doing what they should be doing more of the time, which means they're working less but making more money, and then having team members developed beneath them that are going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. We all have our main events, and it's the segmentation about how the team then evolves around you. And that's that next jump, right? That's that next step to where, I'm now producing double or triple what I used to be. But here's the fun thing. I'm not working as hard. And that's a wonderful dichotomy that starts to happen as soon as you build the right team around you. And that's what master level coaching is all about. So once we get there, and it's so exciting, it's then building that environment around the loan originator, the loan strategist, to then go out and do something that you can't do on your own. You need help.
Right. Yeah. And it's, that team building is such a critical piece, and we take that so seriously at coaching. We want to support our coaching master level members at having that higher level conversation, right? Having that higher level leadership, culture, legacy, all of those types of things that comes into master level coaching that are so critical. I think one of the best things that that I've been enjoying this past year is the master strategy sessions that we have with Todd Duncan. Master Level has a quarterly session with them, and they get to ask Todd questions. And Todd has, in the past several years, has only made himself available to our elite members, and he coaches them individually on a one-on-one basis. But to have Todd on a quarterly call with us to ask him the questions, to do a master teaching, to have those higher level at a higher volume, conversation has really been impactful for our coaching members. And I think that that's something that I think a lot of people kind of miss out on when they're not in master level.
Yeah, no, for sure. That time that you have with Todd, those calls are just so fun to be on, because you have got some of the smartest minds in our industry that are all together, all collaborating on how to build business, how to make it better. And you've got, Todd at the helm, giving advice, giving direction. And it is a mastermind session once a quarter that, for me, I enjoy, I take massive notes during that. And it's not all from Todd. I mean, I'm getting it from all of our master level coaches and coaching members as we try to figure this out. How do we do our jobs better? How do we become more proficient with building relationships, building teams, hiring the right people? What do we look forward to as far as what is coming, so that we're on the forefront of it and not struggling to keep up?
Boy, I actually could not have said that better. Thank you, Matt, for that. So this year, oh my goodness, tell me about some of the triumphs. Tell me about some of the triumphs you've had for some of our coaching members, and what were the challenges, and how do we overcome some of those, Matt? I know I'm just kind of coming out of left.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I think as I look back on the coaching members, I think the general consensus with every single one of them is gratitude. I'm grateful that they have a system that allows them to be the very, very best selves that they can be. That, as we work on implementable ideas one at a time, each one of those ideas is helping them to become a better person, helping them to be better at their business, helping them to be better as far as a husband or a wife, better with their kids, better with their time. I don't have a single coaching member that has not done really, really well financially this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got that as a blessing. But I think you step it back to how were lives impacted as far as little changes. And I can give you an idea. This is a coaching session that I do, and I base it around the law of the hourglass. And we've got to make our moves before our time runs out.
Mm-hmm.
And I love baseball, Hope. It's a wonderful sport, and one of the things that I use in this analogy is I want you to think about if you're on the baseball field and you've selected 8 baseballs, and you have positioned them in front of your feet. Okay, so you have these balls in front of you, and you've hand selected it. Now these baseballs each represent a 20-minute segment of time. And that baseball is one thing that you have designated that I'm going to pick up this ball and I'm going to toss it in the air. And that's the only thing that I'm going to do for that 20 minutes. Now that could be reaching out to a real estate partner. It could be reaching out to your database. It could be working on a gifting program. It could be reading a book about business development. It could be walking outside. There's a myriad of different things. Meditation. It could be a lot of different things, but this is a ball that I have set aside in my day, predetermined, that I want to focus in on. I'm going to pick up that ball and I'm going to throw it up in the air. And when I'm done with it, I'm going to put that ball in a little cubby. Okay. And I can say, okay, I've completed that task that I've decided that I'm going to do. And then I've got 2 more 20-minute segments during the hour. Well, what happens on a baseball field with a lot of baseballs is that all of a sudden we look around, and not only do we have the 7 balls still left in front of us, but now we've got about 20 other baseballs that have haphazardly just shown up in front of us, right? And these baseballs, we need to very quickly decide to do a few different things. We can decide to do them, right? If we see that ball, we'll say, okay, I can get this done really fast. It's important. I'm going to get it done. We can delegate it to someone else to do. So we just pick up that baseball and we throw it over to someone else to do for us. We can delay it, which means, okay, that's an important baseball, but not going to happen today. I'm going to put this baseball over here for tomorrow or next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Or we delete it. We get that ball out of play as quickly as possible and say, we're not going to be looking at this, right? And then we're going to focus in. So we kind of do that for about 20 minutes and see what's coming to our field of play. And then we've got another 20 minutes to kind of do the do's, right? The balls that we decided we're going to get done. And then we put all that aside and we pick up ball number 2 out of our 8. And we work that ball, right? Now the trick of all of this, and again, this is time blocking 101, just visualizing what this is we need to throw this ball up in the air and we need to have a shield around us for any other baseballs that are going to come and try to hit us in the face. Why? Because if we get bombarded with a bunch of other baseballs, we're going to drop the ball that we have already promised ourselves we're going to do. And then that creates chaos. And we work through our day like this, right? Now, a lot of my coaching members, the idea is I'm going to focus. I'm going to really, really focus in on 2 baseballs a day. So 2 20-minute segments that I've designated that I'm going to do, and I'm going to master that. And then I'm going to increase that to 3 and then 4 and then 5. But can you imagine how productive your day is going to be if you designate 8 things that you're going to do, predetermined, that you're going to work on?
Well, so okay, go on, finish up. Because I just wanted to ask you a quick question about that because it's really interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, so you're fine. So one of my coaching members says, Matt, that one idea, that one visualization has changed my life.
Exactly. So It is a life changer. And so the question is that one of the things that we are so good at high trust coaching, and what Todd teaches so incredibly well, is tactical, step by step. This is what you do. So from theory, he goes to, here's the theory, here's the why, here's the fundamental reason. And then he takes it and he boils it down to tactical steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So when you're in that conversation, Matt, with your coaching member, are you saying to them, okay, what are your 1, 2, or 3 top priorities, and have them identify them for you? How does that conversation go after they've gotten the idea theoretically?
So yes, absolutely. So once we've identified, okay, we've got these magical, they're not magical, they're actually in our day if we decide to use them, segments of time that we're going to do certain things. Mm-hmm. We then need to be very, very strategic about what those things are.
Sure.
But fortunately, we already have a guide in front of us about some of the things that we know we're supposed to do. We're supposed to make strategic phone calls to our partners every day. We're supposed to call our database every day. We should be doing annual reviews. If we've got this set up right, there should be time allocated for that every day. You've got to have time associated for business development. One of those balls set aside for you every day. You should have time to meet with your team if you need to every day. It's interesting that, depending on where the coaching member is, email is either one of those balls or it's not.
You're right.
But the idea is, we already know the things that we're supposed to do to build our business.
Right. Well, and the thing is that some of us do and some of us don't. So one of the things that we do in coaching is we identify what is the priority. Right. And this year, I have to say that, a big part of the priority has been moving pipeline, responding to clients, obviously, getting things done in a timely manner, customer service, customer expectations, streamlining, just a lot of those tactical things that we've been having to do, which we've been very successful in being able to do. So I think that what's really important, in what we do is obviously to teach, obviously we do teach, but then we also try to give them step-by-step tactical things of what their priority is. So it's really not about our agenda, all of the should things you should be doing. I mean, we do have a very, very specific framework that we know is successful, right? We know that if you just do these core 6 things, you're going to be successful. You can't help but not. But at the same time, we have to be, listening to them as to what their priorities are. And this year it's been pipeline management, customer service, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because if you look at it, you've got 2 choices. You either are reactive or you're proactive.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the conversations this year have been revolving around, I've been reactive this week. How do I change that? How do I become more proactive? How do I control my business and not let my business run me?
Thank you, Matt. Yes, absolutely. And those are the questions, right? Those are the questions. How do I control my business and not have my business control me? That's a big one. That's a big question, right? How do I achieve, a day that I feel fulfilled and accomplished, and get home to my family on time? Right. Yep. So those, how do I do this? And that's, we create that. This is how you do it. Right.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what makes this so much fun.
Yes.
And again, I hope you know this. As coaches, we're in the business. We're doing the business. This is something that we're living. This is something that, as we look at how Todd Duncan has affected our lives, and how the laws of high trust have helped us to figure it out in a sense. And this is not, I don't have it figured out. It's not there yet. I've not arrived, but it is a process every single day of becoming a little bit better, getting a little more in tune with how can I live life a little more full today.
Yeah. And
And
there's nothing like, I think, for a coach, if I were a coaching member, at least for me to say to my coach, Matt Harrison, a challenge that I'm experiencing, and know that he totally gets it. He totally understands exactly what my challenge is. He intimately knows that. I mean, that's got to be an amazing experience for our coaching members to say that you're walking the same walk, talking the same talk.
Hope, I think that's what really separates high trust coaching from the other platforms that are out there right now, is that we're doing the business. We're not just, talking about, how to improve your business, but we have no idea what you're actually living and
Exactly.
doing. I mean, we do this every single day.
Yeah.
And so we're able to impart the information that has helped us to figure it out a little bit better. I mean, I know for me personally,
Yes.
in running through what we've done this year, I mean, my hours worked have gone down. I more than doubled my production, but I average about 20 to 25 hours a week in actually working in my own business.
I love that.
And that's wonderful.
You did that this year?
I did that this year.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
If you think about it, that ideally, that's what this is all about. How do we make more money in less time with less stress?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You take it right out of high trust selling. I mean, that is the goal of what this is all about. How do we enjoy life more, have less stress, which helps with that, make more money that allows us to influence not only our families, but our communities as well.
Yes.
And we have great tools available to be able to help with that. And that's why I coach, is I say, okay, I've seen how this helps me.
Right.
I want to help others.
Exactly. And that's why, again, thank you. I can't thank our coaches enough for taking time out of your already very successful business to help others. And that's the heart of a coach. What you just explained just now, your heart of a coach just kind of jumped out at me. And I just wanted to, obviously thank you so much for that. But it's very, very true. It's very true that you are, shortening the learning curve, right? Because I've been there, done that a couple of times. And sometimes we'll let them, if they're really committed to jumping in that hole, we let them do it, right? We try not to, but if it's something that they really feel as though they're very strongly about, then, okay, let's give it a go. And then afterwards to say, okay, now, what I think I heard a quote, something like, I'm going to listen to what my coach, I'm try again, listen to what my coach told me in the first place to do, something like that. So it's just really kind of interesting how exciting it's been and how unusual it's been this year for us. And coming into the new year, I will say that I know that you have done the same, Matt. I mean, all of our coaching members have their business plans are done, strategy is in place, what we're going to do, and I have sent them all home to spend the rest of the year with their families.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful 2021, and so looking forward to it.
Yes, absolutely. So everybody's ready, Matt? All of your people are ready to go?
They're as ready as well. We're constantly getting ready, right? It is a constant progress and process, and that's what makes coaching so fun. Right. Is that every coaching session is a little different, and we really do attune it to what is going on in their lives right then, with again the vision and the plan for where they're going.
Yes. So I was just going to ask you that. So in closing, what would you say would be for those people listening that haven't quite sat down and done their business planning and their goal setting? What would you say would be the 3 key things that they should be thinking about and making sure they have done before the end of the year?
I think the biggest question that I would pose to each one of you is, who am I? Who am I in the industry? What am I known for? And if you cannot answer that question right now, today, then we have some work to do. You need to know where you're going. We talk a lot about, being in a niche, being an expert in something. You cannot be an expert in everything. So who are you? You know, I write it down. Who am I? You know, and you know, where am I going to go? Who am I going to be?
Sure. Yes.
I really enjoy who I am. So that's question number one.
Uh-huh.
Question number two is, realistically, as I look back over my book of business this last year, where did I miss it? What bucket did I not go for? Whether that's financial planners, real estate agents that I either didn't follow through with, and I've kind of that relationship has gone a little south and I need to resurrect it.
Oh, I love that.
Which real estate agents do I want to go for to build a relationship? Write them down. Who are they?
Yeah.
You got to have this like firmly in place to say, okay, this is my direction, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Number three, as I look at my strategic wheelhouse of cash flow, okay, what spokes are a little weak right now? Okay, so you know, if we've got our wheel right and it's spinning around, is it kind of like the broken wheel that's you know, that we've got to shore this area up.
Good one.
There's a section there that we're missing, that we need to really work on and make strong.
Sure.
And so those three things right out the gate: who am I? You know, who do I need to be connecting with to kind of build the relationship? Which buckets, right, have I not accessed to? And where in my strategic wheelhouse am I missing? Or maybe it's just a fine tune up, like where can I make it stronger? What areas do you really need to work on? I think all of us can look at that and say, yeah, I can pretty well define what that looks like.
Exactly. And I think that kind of lends itself to where you're going and how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Well, you know, Todd Duncan wrote the book on goal setting, and I've asked our I've asked our marketing team to play some of the Todd TV videos on goal setting. So directly following this broadcast, our marketing people will be posting videos on goal setting from Todd Duncan. So I think that a good listen of that will also help as well as far as setting goals and firmly setting things in place for 2021. And
make sure that we call it the BHAG, right? Big, huge, goal. Make sure that you've written it down, you've talked to your team about it. It is like up somewhere that you have it in front of you at all times. Because that's the direction. That's your GPS on your phone as far as where you're going. You've got to know where you're going or you're not going to get there.
Exactly. God, I love that. This is such an inspiring, you know, so funny, Matt, is that you're one of the coaches that I can live with and not have an agenda around. And we didn't have an agenda today, although we just wanted to talk about goals. And goal setting. And so we've definitely accomplished that. But oh my goodness, this conversation always ends up being so much more than I had expected. You always exceed my expectations, Matt. So, and I thank you for taking time away for your family and your business this morning to talk with us, because you bring such immense value to us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I love it. I love being a part of this group. It's a special, special group.
It is a very, very special group. All right. Well, we're coming to the end. As I want to, from Todd Duncan, High Trust Coaching, we want to wish you a very, very happy holiday, very happy New Year, and let's rock 2021. Yes.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Matt.